So we've finally done it. The UK has slipped into a technical recession after 2 quarters of negative growth. I wonder if Rishi will be smirking about this, how he halved inflation. I mean, oh geez. I don't know about you, but doesn't it feel like we've been in a recession for the last couple of years? This is just kind of like, yeah, isn't this what we already know?
The UK, which is the world's 6th largest economy, has gone into recession. And Japan has unexpectedly fallen into a recession after its own economy shrank for 2 quarters in a row. The Office for National Statistics in the UK reports that in the 3 months to December, the economy shrank by 0.3%. That follows a shrinkage of 0.1% from July to August, meaning that the UK ended the year in recession. Now, a reminder that GDP is a way of measuring all of the economic activity of companies, governments, individuals in a country. It's quite a blow for the Prime Minister, this news, Rishi Sunak, given that one of his so-called 5 pledges announced last year was to have the economy growing by the end of 2023. He has admitted he's likely to fail to meet that target.
So I got absolutely slated last time I mentioned the UK, saying how bad it was. Was I lying? No. I look at the news today, guess what's happened? The UK has now entered a recession. It was obviously going to happen. Tried to pre-warn people. I told you how bad it was. The economy was collapsing. Now it's entered a recession. And again, I'm going to tell you the truth. It's only going to get worse before it gets better. Absolute fact. I just do not see at all in the slightest what the positives are at the moment to do with the UK. The economy is fucked. The weather, of course, absolutely freezing. Everybody is absolutely miserable because of all of the above. It's going to get worse. People don't like to hear it, but that's the truth.
Has anyone got any money? Anyone out there, have you lot all got money? Oh, I ain't got any. I ain't got any money. Hiya, have you got some money? Well, none of us have, we ain't got any, that's weird. Have you got some? Has anyone got any money? I don't know. I just need more money.
Is it an economy that needs help? Is it crying out for tax cuts? You know, voters want it, your backbenchers are crying out for it. Isn't it time to unleash your inner Nigel Lawson?
This is the time to do what it takes to grow the economy.
Is that cutting taxes?
The most important thing we can do to grow the economy is to tackle inflation. It's fallen from 11% to 4%. Going forward, I do believe that countries that grow faster tend to have lower taxes, which is where we started to reduce the tax burden. I also want to fund our public services. I think it's possible to do both of those things.
But in the last 24 hours, there's been multiple leaks from within the Treasury about plans to cut taxes, even if government spending has to be cut further. Are you not worried about more condemnation from the IMF and the OBR about fantasy figures?
Well, my priority is to get the economy back on a path to sustainable, healthy growth. And to do that, there is one elephant in the room. There is one thing that is making that difficult, and that is high inflation. We're tackling that. That does mean that you have higher interest rates for a period. But if we stick to our guns, all those independent forecasters that you talk about say we will bring inflation down and see the return of healthy growth.
Are you keen to prove to the public that Conservatives still believe in tax cuts, still think that money is best kept in people's pockets?
Well, I do think if you look around the world that countries with lower tax burdens grow faster, and that's why I want to bring down the tax burden when it is affordable and responsible to do so. But the biggest tax cut that I could give families right now is to bring inflation down. That is eating away at the value of people's wages.
Members of England, the public of England, the jury of England, have you heard the news? The UK is finally back in recession. Yeah, we're back in recession like we're in school. We're in a recession now. I don't know why they're telling us this now. We knew this years ago. We knew this time ago. Why are they only telling us this now? I'm telling you, the UK is broke. Dust. All the cha-ching money, gone. Fountain all away. Flew away. Fly away. Dust away. Now the UK is broke and in a recession. They're going to be making the prices even up and up and up and up and up. Save your money, because now we're back in a recession. We're broke. We ain't got no money.
UK and Japan are basically brothers now because they've both slipped into recession today. Quarter-on-quarter GDP growth for the UK came out at negative 0.3% versus expectations of negative 0.1%. But this country here, Japan's, it was a really, really big surprise. It came in at negative 0.4%, but the expectation was actually positive 1.4%. What this is kind of showing is that demand globally is stifled by probably higher interest rates, the Russian war, higher energy costs, and we're seeing that feed through over the last year or two come into fruition.
The UK is in recession. Now, before we all go panicking, diving back to the dark times of 2008, 2009, what exactly does it mean when they publish the data that says the UK is now in recession? Now, our gross domestic product, or sometimes referred to as GDP, is a key metric for our economic activity. Now, between the last 3 months of 2023, this dropped 0.3%. This also followed a drop in the 3 months prior to that in July, August and September. With this, the UK is considered to be in recession if there is 2 consecutive 3-month declines. Now, for those that remember, we'll think back to 2008, 2009 and think of all the kind of turmoil that came along with what we know as our last major recession.
The UK is a scam. You wake up early in the morning to go to work in order to pay for a house that you barely live in. You work in order to pay for a car that mainly gets you from home to work and back. The government takes anywhere from 30 to 50% of your wages. And then there's something called VAT, which means you get taxed on money that's already been taxed. You work your whole entire life to save up for a pension, and at the end of it, the government will take 40 to 50% of that as well. And then, if you finally reach the retirement age, and I say if because they do it up every year, hoping that you don't make it, you start living off cheap canned food, bread and water, and you might even get lucky a couple nights a month. And I don't mean getting laid, I mean having the heating on, because you might not even be able to afford it with your state pension.
Listen, there are many bad things about there being a recession. FYI, in case you didn't know, today Britain announced that it's in recession, which means that our economy has shrunk for 2 consecutive quarters rather than growing. There's lots of bad things about it. It's a worry for small businesses. It's a worry for our nighttime economies. It's a worry in general. But you see the good thing, you see the one good thing, is that finally, I have something to blame my lack of social skills on rather than my anxiety. Oh no, sorry, I can't come out. There's a recession on. Oh, I'd love to spend lots of money tonight, but there's a recession on. I can't buy the round of drinks in tonight because there's a recession on. Do you see how much better that sounds rather than my brain don't work, my brain goes silly? Recession. Recession. There's a recession on. Ah, delightful.
One of Rishi Sunak's pledges as Prime Minister was to grow the economy. Let's see how that's going, shall we? Oh, looks like the UK's in recession, which means no growth for 6 months. Although they are reporting that overall, in the year 2023, the economy did grow by, wait for it, 0.1%. Jeremy Hunt said that when Sunak made that commitment to growth, he made it very clear that tackling inflation came first. I wonder what caused inflation to rise so much. All that printing money during COVID. Whose idea was that? Who was Chancellor at the time? So Sunak made inflation go up, and now he's trying to get it down using higher interest rates, which have led to a recession. So now interest rates need to be cut, which might lead to inflation going up again. Anyone else see a problem here? So Sunak has been Sunaked. What's he going to do now? Blame Labour, probably. Either that or us greedy plebs for daring to ask for more.
This morning we got updated GDP data, which shows that the UK contracted by 0.3% of GDP in the last quarter of last year. That's actually worse than what people expected, which was a 0.1% GDP contraction. Since we've had 2 quarters of declines, that now means the UK is in what traditionally is thought of as a recession. The data is actually even worse than that under the surface. So when you look at GDP per capita, which is per person in our economy, it's actually been even more negative, and it's been basically negative since Q2 of 2022.
Boom, man's back. Why am I happy?
I mean, I was expecting this to happen a while ago, innit? It's official. The UK is the gulag. You get me? It's a fight for survival. It's you versus the next man, innit? Winner stays on, because you see when man said we're in recession. Do you know what that means, bro? We're broke. Everyone in this country, we're broke, bro. I wonder why, innit? I wonder if it's some decisions that we took a couple years ago that said, we can stand on our own 2 feet. We got this. Do we? Looking like we're one-legged at the moment. Like, what happens? We're struggling, brother. Absolutely struggling. I can't lie. All them videos and people are like, this is why you should move out of the UK. UK shit. This is why I moved out of the UK. This is your sign. This is your sign. Get the hell out of this country, bro. Look at this. Man, them put us in the gulag. I'm done.